My boyfriend, Dallas Clarke, had a pick-me girl constantly hanging around him named Olivia Phillips. She knew perfectly well that I had diabetes and could not eat high-sugar foods. Yet, during our hiking trip, she still managed to trick me into eating a high-sugar energy bar, which caused my blood sugar to spike. When I pulled out my insulin pen to inject myself, I discovered with horror that my medication had been replaced with saline solution. Seeing me collapsed on the ground, dry heaving uncontrollably, Olivia smirked in disdain. "You are always so dramatic. It's just sugar, you don't need to act like you're dying. That's why I told Dallas to switch your meds, because you needed to toughen up and build some stamina." I looked toward Dallas, my breathing already becoming labored. "Dallas, give me my medication. If I don't inject insulin soon, I'm going to die." Dallas frowned slightly. "Don't you think you're being a little overdramatic? I've never heard of anyone dying from a bit of sugar." "Olivia's right. You're such an attention seeker. We barely get together as a group, and here you are causing a scene." My heart sank, and I called Dad immediately. "Dad, I'm getting bullied and I might die. Are you going to do something about it or not?" Dallas Clarke snatched my phone away and hit the end call button. His face was full of contempt and impatience. "Sabrina Tanner, are you seriously this childish? You're a grown woman, and you're still tattling to your parents." He shoved my phone into his pocket and let out a cold laugh. "Do you seriously think one phone call is going to make your dad, who works out in the woods somewhere, swoop in to save you? Stop embarrassing yourself." He had no idea that the man he looked down on was actually the owner of this entire nature reserve. In other words, this whole mountain belonged to my family. My vision kept fading in and out as the nausea and dizziness from the sugar spike tore through me. Olivia Phillips, Dallas's so-called girl best friend, chimed in without missing a beat. "Dallas, I told you from the start that women are so manipulative. Look at her. She ate one little energy bar, and now she's pretending to be weak so you'll feel bad and carry her down the trail." She continued, "Just saying though, you two lovebirds can be lovey-dovey on your own time without wasting everyone else's. If you pick her over us tonight, I'm not going easy on you during the drinking games." Dallas laughed at her teasing. "With your tolerance? You'd belong at the kids' table." "Screw you. I'm going to make you eat those words." As they bantered back and forth, the two of them ended up in a playful embrace. This was not the first time they got physical with such a complete lack of boundaries. When Dallas first introduced me to his group, Olivia was there. The moment she saw me, she broke into a huge smile and pulled me into a tight hug. "So you're the girlfriend. Dallas talks about you all the time. Finally, we get to meet you in person. You're even prettier than your photos." She sounded friendly, but her eyes scanned me from top to bottom in a split second. After we sat down, she casually commented, "You wore a dress to hang out? Super feminine of you. But just so you know, we're a pretty rowdy bunch. When we start playing games and stuff, you might want to be careful not to get it dirty. I gave up on that a long time ago. I've been with these guys too long, so I'm more comfortable in cargo pants. They don't stain and they're easy." Everyone laughed, as if wearing a dress to a casual get-together was the strangest thing in the world. I felt her subtle hostility, and I also knew I would never fit in with Dallas's friend group. Yet every time I told Dallas how I felt, he made it sound like I was the problem. "Olivia's a tomboy with a dude's personality. She doesn't mean anything by it. Be more understanding. I'm introducing you to my friends so you can get along with them, not so you can get jealous. You're making me look bad when you act like this." To prove that I was supposedly overthinking, he even forced me to join this hike. And now this supposedly harmless tomboy was watching me suffer on the ground with smug satisfaction. Dallas kicked at my leg irritably. "All right, quit the act and get up. You're holding up everyone's hike." The symptoms of hyperglycemia left my entire body weak, and every breath felt like it was burning my chest. I grabbed desperately at his pant leg, using every ounce of strength to beg him. "The medication. Give me my insulin. I really can't breathe." Seeing my flushed face, Dallas hesitated for a moment. He crouched down and helped me up slightly. "Is it really that serious?" Just as I was about to speak, Olivia suddenly burst into dramatic sobs. She looked at me with this wounded expression, as if I were some kind of unforgivable criminal. "Sabrina, how could you do this to me? I bought that imported premium energy bar for over $200 just because you're Dallas's girlfriend. It's super healthy and packed with nutrients. How could they possibly cause such an extreme reaction?" Her eyes turned red as she sniffled. Are you trying to frame me? I know you don't like me, but you can't target me like this." She looked at Dallas with tears in her eyes. "Dallas, we've been friends for years. Don't you know my character by now? You're the one who said bros before hoes, so today I'm making you choose. Are you picking your ride or die friend, or your girlfriend?" Dallas immediately panicked, and let go of me to rush over and comfort her. "Of course I believe you. This is my fault. I've spoiled her too much. I'll make her apologize to you." His sudden movement sent me crashing to the ground again, and tiny rocks flew dangerously close to my eyes. Meanwhile, everyone rushed to surround Olivia, showering her with comfort. "Olivia, don't cry. We all know you're not that kind of person. Seriously? She's so dramatic. Dallas, what did you even see in her? I bet she's just stirring up trouble on purpose, trying to make you distance yourself from Olivia." Dallas tenderly pulled the sobbing Olivia into his arms and softly consoled her. He looked exactly as gentle as he had when he confessed his feelings to me. But right now I, his actual girlfriend, was cast aside and shut out. My vision was already starting to blur, but I struggled to lift my head and saw Dallas's and Olivia's hiking backpacks not far away. It suddenly hit me that my insulin pen might be hidden inside one of them. Gasping heavily, I began inching across the ground, my fingertips reaching forward desperately. Just as I was about to touch the backpack strap, a hiking boot came down without warning and ground viciously into the back of my hand. It was Olivia. The searing pain made me let out a muffled groan. Yet she acted as if she was startled and let out an exaggerated gasp. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. But Sabrina, why did you put your hand under my shoe? Is this another trick to frame me? She sounded all pitiful and wronged, but the blatant smugness on her face showed she did it on purpose. However, since her back was to everyone else, no one saw the malice on her face, so no matter how I tried to explain, nobody would believe me. Frustration rose like a weight on my chest. Her foot pressed harder, and I was too weak to pull my hand away. I could only feel with excruciating clarity as my fingers were ground beneath her boot. Too weak even to cry out in pain. Seeing that I was not responding, she pouted and grumbled with dissatisfaction. Why aren't you saying anything, Sabrina? I already apologized. Are you still not satisfied? Do I have to get on my knees and beg before you'll forgive me? Dallas heard the commotion and came over with a frown. Olivia quickly lifted her foot. He did not even glance at my red and swollen hand, instead pulling her behind him protectively and shouting at me harshly. Sabrina, have you not made enough trouble? I haven't even confronted you about earlier, and now you're starting again. Do you need everyone here to be miserable before you're satisfied? He glared at me from above, like he was passing judgment on a criminal as he barked. Apologize to Olivia immediately. The way Dallas was protecting Olivia made them look like the actual couple. I suddenly remembered what happened 3 days ago. We were at another group hangout when Dallas and Olivia left the private room for a long time. Feeling uneasy, I went looking for them and finally found them outside the restroom. The hallway lighting was dim, and Olivia had both hands positioned between Dallas's waist and abdomen, their bodies pressed intimately close in a way that made my stomach turn. When I furiously rushed over, she was just finishing zipping up his pants. She looked at me with those eyes that always carried a mocking gleam. She said, Sabrina, don't get the wrong idea. Dallas's zipper got stuck, so I was just helping him out. Meanwhile, Dallas was completely unbothered. He was even slightly annoyed that I interrupted them. Baby, don't read too much into it. Olivia and I are just friends. Besides, she's basically one of the guys. Olivia's basically one of us. She always says she's jealous we have something she doesn't, so what's the harm in letting her take a look? I was stunned speechless. I could not believe that he could say something so ridiculous with a straight face. That night, we had a huge fight, and I told him I wanted to end our relationship. However, he completely changed his tune, holding me while swearing up and down, even shedding a few tears. His apology seemed so sincere. Thinking of our 3 years together, I eventually softened. Looking back now, I realized I was not holding on to the relationship itself. Instead, I was just reluctant to let go of those 3 years I invested. I clung to a relationship that already rotted, foolishly hoping it could come back to life. It was pathetic. We're done. I rasped from the ground. Dallas froze for a moment. Then, he suddenly let out a scornful laugh. Playing the breakup card again? Sabrina, just because I humored you once doesn't mean I'll do it every time. He crouched down and grabbed my chin, forcing me to look up at him. Playing hard to get only works so many times before it gets annoying. As I stared at his face up close, he suddenly felt like a stranger. Any lingering feelings I had for him vanished completely. Mustering my final bit of strength, I spoke slowly and deliberately. I am Sabrina Tanner of the Tanner family. You're treating me like this on my family's property. Have you thought about the consequences? How dare any of you mess with someone from the Tanner family? The moment those words left my mouth, the group erupted. The Tanner family? Which Tanner family is she talking about? What other one could there be? The ultra-powerful Tanner family, obviously. This whole nature reserve we're standing on is Tanner property, isn't it? Oh my goodness, did the sugar fry her brain? Look at this backwoods nobody trying to claim she's a Tanner heiress. Olivia laughed the hardest. She wiped the tears from her eyes and patted Dallas's shoulder with fake concern. All right, you guys. Don't tease the poor girl anymore. Can't you see she's about to cry? Keep going, and she'll start claiming she's the queen of some country, coming to chop off your heads. Another round of harsh, mocking laughter filled the air. Only after they laughed themselves out did Olivia pull something from her pocket. A blue and white injection pen. It was my insulin. My eyes lit up, feeling hopeful as I struggled to lift my hand toward her. She give it to me. Just as my fingertips were about to touch the pen, Olivia flicked her wrist and nimbly pulled it away from my reach. She curled her lips into a cruel smirk and shot a knowing look at the bleach blonde guy standing nearby, Ethan Biles. Ethan immediately caught on and took the pen from her hand, eyeing me with a sleazy, predatory gaze. I don't buy that she's some innocent little girl, he said. Then, like he was teasing a dog, He dangled the pen in front of me and waved it around. You want it? Crawl over here and beg me for it. My mind was already starting to fog over, and my legs were too weak to stand. Out of pure instinct, I crawled forward. Oh my gosh. She's actually crawling. Quick, get this on video. This is wild. As the sounds of their excited jeering and phone cameras clicking filled my ears, humiliation washed over me completely. I could even sense Dallas' expression darkening further. He probably thought I was making him look like a complete fool right now. Yet I could not care less. My body was at its absolute limit, and if I did not get insulin soon, I would go into shock or even die. I crawled to Ethan's feet and looked up at him, begging pathetically. Please, give it to me. I'm begging you. Ethan's smile grew even more disgusting as he continued waving the pen around, refusing to hand it over. Instead, Olivia gasped dramatically and covered her mouth in mock shock. Oh my, Sabrina, you look like you've done this before. She turned to Dallas, whose face went completely dark, and asked with feigned innocence. Dallas, you don't think she's the type to sneak around behind your back playing kinky dominance games with other guys, do you? That single comment ignited all the rage Dallas was bottling up. USLT. With a furious roar, he kicked me viciously in the side. The brutal force sent my entire body flying through the air before I slammed hard into a nearby tree trunk. The excruciating pain made my vision go black, and I nearly passed out completely. Dallas's face twisted with rage as he approached me step by step. He stopped right in front of my face and he growled. Tell me, who the hell is he? I was barely conscious from the pain, and even breathing became difficult. All I could do was weakly shake my head. However, he interpreted this as defiance. Still won't talk, he roared, then kicked me square in the chest. I heard the distinct sound of my own rib snapping, and a metallic taste surged up from my throat as blood mixed with saliva spilled from the corner of my mouth. The combination of searing pain and lack of oxygen sent my body into violent spasms, and I felt myself slipping away. Just as I was about to lose consciousness completely, a furious shout rang out from behind the crowd. Stop. Lay one more hand on my daughter, and you'll never walk out of these woods again. The voice thundered through the forest clearing, shaking the leaves on the trees. Everyone froze. Dallas's foot, raised to kick me again, hovered in the air before he stumbled back, startled by the sheer authority in that shout. A dozen men in tactical gear emerged from the shadows of the tree line, moving with terrifying precision. They weren't park rangers, they were private mercenaries. At the center of them strode a man who looked like he could crush stones with his bare hands. My father, Arthur Tanner. Dad. I whispered, a tear leaking from my eye, mixing with the blood on my face. Dallas, recovering from his shock, sneered. He didn't recognize the billionaire tycoon in his outdoor gear. He only saw an older man interrupting his power trip. Who the hell are you? Dallas barked, trying to regain his composure in front of Olivia. This is a private matter. Get lost, old man, before I report you for harassment. Dad didn't even look at him. His eyes were locked on me, on my broken, trembling form, the blood on my lips, the unnatural angle of my ribs. The temperature in the clearing seemed to drop 20 degrees. Paramedics. Dad roared. 2 medics rushed past the security team, carrying a stretcher and an emergency kit. As they knelt beside me, checking my vitals and injecting emergency glucose and insulin to stabilize my erratic levels, Dad finally turned his gaze to Dallas. It was the look of a predator staring at prey that didn't yet know it was dead. You reported me? Dad walked forward slowly. You are standing on my land, breathing my air, and hurting my daughter. Olivia, sensing the danger, tried to play her usual card. She stepped forward, wiping her fake tears, and put on a pitiful, trembling voice. Sir, please don't misunderstand. Sabrina, she went crazy. She was attacking us, and Dallas was just trying to protect me. She's mentally unstable. Dad stopped in front of Olivia. He towered over her. You swapped her insulin for saline. Olivia's face went pale. I don't know what you're talking about. It was a prank. It was just a joke. A joke. Dad repeated, his voice dangerously low. He signaled to the head of security. Secure them. All of them. If they resist, break their legs. Hey, you can't do that. That's illegal kidnapping. Ethan shouted, trying to back away. The security team moved like a wave. Before Ethan could take another step, he was slammed face first into the dirt, zip ties cinching his wrists. Dallas tried to throw a punch, but a guard caught his fist effortlessly and twisted it until Dallas screamed, forcing him to his knees. You're making a mistake, Dallas yelled, his face pressed against the soil. My girlfriend is Sabrina Tanner. She's a nobody. Her dad is a lumberjack or something. You're going to jail for this. Dad knelt beside the stretcher as the medics lifted me. He gently brushed the hair out of my face, his hands shaking with suppressed rage. Dallas Clarke, Dad said, his voice carrying clearly over the sound of the approaching medical helicopter. You are correct about one thing. Her name is Sabrina Tanner. But you are very wrong about who I am. Dad stood up, buttoning his jacket. I am Arthur Tanner, CEO of Tanner Global, and you just attempted to murder the sole heiress to my empire. The silence that followed was absolute. Dallas's eyes bulged, threatening to pop out of his skull. Olivia stopped her fake crying instantly, her mouth hanging open. The arrogance drained from their faces, replaced by a cold, creeping terror. Take them to the holding cells, Dad ordered cold-heartedly. And save the footage from their phones. I want every second of their cruelty documented for the jury. I woke up 3 days later in the VIP suite of the Tanner Private Hospital. My chest was heavily bandaged, and an M4 drip was humming quietly beside me. Dad was sitting in the armchair, reading a document. He looked like he hadn't slept in 72 hours. Dad, I croaked. He was at my side in an instant. Sabrina. Thank God. Don't try to move. You had 3 broken ribs, a severe concussion, and your kidneys nearly failed from the ketoacidosis. I stared at the ceiling, the memories flooding back. The sugar. The saline. The boot crushing my hand. The kick to my chest. Where are they? I asked, my voice devoid of emotion. In police custody, Dad said grimly. I had the local sheriff transfer them to the darkest cells available. Bail has been denied. The charges are attempted murder, assault causing bodily harm, and conspiracy. Dallas. He's been crying for you, Dad said with a disgusted sneer. Claiming it was a misunderstanding. Claiming he loves you. He says Olivia manipulated him. I closed my eyes. And Olivia? She's blaming you. She told the police you asked her to hold the pen, and that you staged the whole thing for attention. I let out a weak, dry laugh that hurt my ribs. Typical. Sabrina. Dad took my hand. I let you live a normal life because you wanted to stay grounded. I let you date that boy because I thought you needed to make your own choices. But I will not stand by while people treat you like trash. I am going to destroy them. But I want to know what you want. I looked at my hand, the one Olivia had stepped on. It was wrapped in gauze, the fingers bruised black and blue. I thought about the 3 years I wasted on Dallas. I thought about how desperate I had been for his approval, for his friend's acceptance. That desperate girl died in the woods. I don't just want them in jail, Dad, I said, my eyes hardening. I want them to have nothing. I want everyone to know what they did. I want to watch them turn on each other. Dad smiled, a cold, ruthless smile. That's my girl. Rest now. The show is just beginning. The first step wasn't legal, it was social. While I recovered, Dad's legal team released the video footage. Not the whole thing, just enough. The clip of Olivia stomping on my hand while smiling, and the clip of Ethan dangling the insulin pen while I crawled. It went viral overnight. #JusticeForSabrina trended globally. Dallas worked as a junior marketing executive at a mid-sized firm. Olivia was an influencer and a fitness instructor at a high-end gym. Ethan was a trust fund kid still in grad school. By the time I was discharged from the hospital a week later, their lives were already burning. I sat in my penthouse living room, watching the news on a massive screen. Breaking news. The trio involved in the brutal assault of heiress Sabrina Tanner appeared in court today. The internet has dubbed Olivia Phillips the monster of the mountain. All sponsors have dropped Phillips, and she has been permanently banned from the National Fitness Association. The screen cut to Dallas being led out of a police van. He looked haggard, unshaven, and terrified. People behind the barricades were throwing rotten eggs and trash at him. My phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. I knew who it was. I put it on speaker. Sabrina? Sabrina, please baby, don't hang up. Dallas's voice was frantic, cracking with desperation. He was using his one phone call from the county jail. You have 3 minutes, Dallas, I said, sipping my tea. Baby, you have to tell them to stop. They're ruining me. I lost my job, my apartment. My parents won't even talk to me because the media is camped outside their house. You know I didn't mean to hurt you. It was Olivia. She told me the pen was fake. She told me you were acting. And kicking me in the ribs? Was that Olivia too? I asked calmly. I was angry. I was jealous. Because I love you so much, I couldn't stand the thought of you cheating. Please, Sabrina. I know you're rich now. I don't care about the money. I just want us back. I can handle being Mr. Tanner. I'll be the best husband. Husband. I laughed, a sharp sound. Dallas, you kicked me while I was dying. You watched me crawl. You aren't going to be my husband. You're going to be an inmate. Sabrina, don't do this. I know secrets about you. I know you have a scar on your thigh. I'll tell the press you're crazy. Go ahead, I said. See who believes you. Oh, and Dallas? I hope you like the public defender. I bought the law firm you tried to hire. They dropped your case this morning. I hung up. The trial was scheduled for 2 months later. In that time, my lawyer, a shark named Mr. Sterling, went to work on their psychology. We offered a plea deal. Not to all of them, just to one of them. The first one to testify against the others would get a reduced sentence of 5 years. The others would face 20. We sent the offer to Olivia, Dallas, and Ethan simultaneously. Then we waited. I was attending physical therapy for my hand when Mr. Sterling called. It's a bloodbath, Ms. Tanner. They are tearing each other apart. Tell me, I said, continuing my wrist exercises. Olivia is claiming Dallas masterminded the insulin swap to kill you and inherit your life insurance, which doesn't exist, but she's desperate. Dallas is claiming Olivia and Ethan were having an affair and planned to kill you to get you out of the picture so Olivia could take your place. Ethan is crying and saying he was just following orders. Who cracked first? Dallas, Sterling said. He handed over text messages. Apparently, Olivia texted him weeks ago saying, if she just disappeared on the mountain, no one would know. My blood ran cold. It hadn't just been bullying. It had been premeditated. Does Olivia know? She knows now. And she's furious. She wants to meet with you. She says she has information that Dallas is hiding. Set it up, I said. I want to see her squirm. I met Olivia in the visitation room of the Women's Detention Center. She wore an orange jumpsuit, no makeup, her hair greasy and matted. She looked 10 years older. When she saw me, wearing a tailored white suit, looking the picture of health and wealth, her eyes filled with pure venom. You be *TCH, she hissed through the glass. You played us. You knew the whole time, didn't you? You watched us like we were clowns. I didn't play anyone, Olivia, I said smoothly. I was just a girl who loved her boyfriend. You were the one who decided that made me a target. I should have stepped on your throat, not your hand, she spat. Charming. Is that what you wanted to tell me? Because I'm about to leave. Wait. She slammed her hand against the glass. Dallas isn't the victim he's pretending to be. He stole from you. Check your bank accounts from the last 2 years. The investments he made for you? The money he borrowed. I raised an eyebrow. I know he stole about 50 grand. It's pocket change, Olivia. He didn't just steal money, Olivia grinned, her teeth yellowing. He stole your design portfolio. You know those graphic designs you made for fun? The ones you left on his laptop? He sold them to a third-party company under his name. He made a fortune off your work while calling you talentless. I froze. Those designs were personal. They were sketches of the nature reserve. Memories of my mother. Why tell me this? Because if I'm going down, I'm taking him to hell with me, Olivia whispered. I have the emails on my cloud. I'll give you the password. Destroy him, Sabrina. Make him suffer more than me. It was pathetic. Even in defeat, she was obsessed with being the winner of the breakup. You're both going to hell, I said, standing up. But thanks for the ammo. The trial was the media event of the year. I took the stand, recounting the events with calm precision. The defense attorneys tried to paint me as a spoiled heiress who exaggerated her condition, but the medical reports and the video footage were irrefutable. When the video of the assault played in the courtroom, the jury looked physically ill. Dallas couldn't even lift his head. Olivia stared straight ahead, dead-eyed. Then came the sentencing. The judge, a stern woman with zero tolerance for cruelty, looked down at the 3 defendants. In all my years on the bench, I have rarely seen such callous disregard for human life disguised as friendship. You tormented a woman suffering a medical emergency for your own amusement. Dallas Clarke, 18 years in prison for attempted murder and assault. Olivia Phillips, 20 years in prison, due to the premeditated text messages and being the instigator. Ethan Biles, 8 years in prison as an accessory. As the gavel banged, Dallas screamed. He lunged toward the gallery where I was sitting with my dad. Sabrina, I love you. I'm sorry. Don't let them take me. Security tackled him instantly. As he was dragged away, weeping like a child, our eyes met one last time. I felt nothing. No love, no hate. Just the indifference you feel when looking at a bag of trash on the curb. Olivia didn't scream. She looked at me and mouthed, you win. I turned to my dad. Let's go home. 3 years later, I stood at the peak of the mountain, the same trail where I had nearly died. But now the path was paved, and there was a beautiful wooden observation deck named the Tanner Sanctuary. I wasn't hiking in a dress and flats this time. I was wearing professional gear, checking the safety rails. Miss Tanner. I turned around. A tall man with kind eyes and a rugged smile was holding a clipboard. It was Julian, the new head ranger of the reserve. He knew about my diabetes. He always carried spare glucose tabs in his pocket, just in case, without ever making a big deal out of it. The inspection is done, Julian said. Everything is up to code. Also, I packed a lunch. Low carb, high protein. Thought you might be hungry. I smiled, feeling a warmth in my chest that had nothing to do with the sun. Thank you, Julian. My phone buzzed. It was a notification from my lawyer. Update. Dallas Clarke was denied parole. He was also beaten in the recreation yard yesterday. He is requesting a transfer to protective custody. I swiped the notification away without replying. I looked out over the vast, green expanse of my family's mountain. The air was clean. The sky was blue. I was healthy, powerful, and free. They had tried to crush me into the dirt, thinking I was weak. They didn't realize that I was a seed. I took a deep breath of the mountain air and turned back to Julian. Let's eat, I said. I'm starving. The end.